Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks setup video for the Motorola Moto G10. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. Right then, so this is a follow-up video to the one where we unbox the Moto G10, and I have my SIM card and memory card ready, and we're ready to set this device up. Now, first things first will be that we need to open the SIM tray. Let's see what that SIM tray is like, and where we're going to put our memory card and SIM card. So this is a hybrid tray. This tray takes a nano SIM and potentially another nano SIM or a memory card. So I'm going to start off by putting my SIM card in, and then once we have the SIM card in, I'm going to add an extra 32 gigabyte storage card. Obviously, I purchased this device from Amazon, and I want to make sure that I have a bit of extra storage there, just in case. And let's see, so I've added a 32 gigabyte card. Let's turn the device on and get it all set up. So as we can see, and as we saw in the last video, this is Motorola powered by Android. Alexa, switch off the lights.
Hello Moto.
And there we have the Hello Moto welcome. A classic. And it's now recognized the SIM card and automatically switched the Moto G10 from English United States to United Kingdom. So let's start with the setup experience. Now the first thing it's going to do is ask us to connect to a Wi-Fi network. There's quite a few around here. I'm going to go for view all. There we go. Now bear with me as I use my Planet Express Wi-Fi, and that should be us connected now. First impressions are, this is the first time I've used the keyboard on the Moto G10. The haptic feedback is a little bit mushy, but it is very, very responsive. It was quite responsive there. Now, whilst the phone is getting ready for the setup experience, I'm going to put on the condom case that was provided with the device. This will keep the device safe, the Moto G10 safe, whilst I wait for my Mocodile case to arrive from AliExpress. Considering it's AliExpress, it might be a few weeks before it arrives, but bear with us and make sure to check out the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel in a few weeks' time, because it's going to be a good one. I think I've ordered a nice piece of Mocodile for the Moto G10. Now, whilst I've been talking, this has been taking a while. I will edit this out in post, or some of it. Right then, so we're back, and it offers me the option to copy apps and data from another phone. But in this point in time, I don't want to do that. I want to go through the full setup experience, like a new user, and see what it's like. I find this is part of the fun of having a new smartphone. It's that you get to set things up all from fresh and play around with the settings until you get it just right. So now I need to sign into my Google account. So there we are, I've signed in and accepted the Google Terms of Service. That's as I was planning to. Let's see if the camera can be moved a little bit further down so you can read better. There we go. So it's going to take a few minutes to get the account info from Google and continue with the setup. But the good news is, if you already have an Android phone, you've already set up things like the Google Assistant, that will make your experience much, much faster, because it already has the information it needs for voice activation. So for example, here we have automatic suggested backup to Google Drive, location use. I'm happy with all of this, so I'm going to accept that, but do read the terms and conditions if you have any issues with that. Now, this is a very EU or European thing at the moment, is that you have to choose the default search engine on your device. And in this case, I'm going to choose Google, but you can see here that you have the choice of Microsoft Bing, Privacy Wall, and info.com. Once you've done that, we need to set up a PIN number for the Moto G10. I'll just be a moment. And now that I've done that, I'm prompted to unlock the device with my fingerprint, and I'm great with that. I really do like that. And the great news is that the Moto G10's fingerprint sensor is in the middle of the back of the device, where the Motorola logo is. And the case for the Moto G10 very handily has a cutout for that fingerprint scanner. And whilst I've been tapping there, it took a few taps, that is now the fingerprint added. Fantastic. So now we're going to try another one. I'm going to try my middle finger. Please rest assured I'm not giving you the middle finger, I'm just using my middle finger because sometimes this is how I unlock my phone. Oh, okay, that was very fast, so fingerprint added, great. So I think 2 is enough for now. Let's carry on with the setup. So now, if it's anything like other devices we've set up, it's the Google Assistant. It explains what it is, and the fact that the Moto G10 has a dedicated Google Assistant here on the right side of the device. So you have the 4 buttons, you have power, volume rocker up and down, and Google Assistant button. So I'm going to press OK. And as I said, if we already have the voice match data, we won't need to set that up again. In fact, your Google Assistant is ready to go. Fantastic. So we've set up the assistant, I've synced my Google account. Let's see how the Moto G10 handles things. Now, obviously I have Google Pay, and because this device is an Android one, it has Google Pay baked in. I will need to finish my setup for Google Pay by using the app my bank provides. So it's not as seamless as it could have been there. But that's good, it's an extra layer of security. My bank requires authentication there. Right then, so YouTube Music app, great. Do we need to do any other email accounts, font size? No, I think everything's ready to go. And that is our Motorola Moto G10 mostly set up. There's some extra privacy and software updates from Motorola. It's suggesting I get in touch. And now it's going to walk us through a tutorial on how to do gesture navigation. It's suggesting you swipe up to go home, see your recent apps by swiping and holding, and then the back button is a side screen gesture. So this is a bit controversial. Some people do like gesture navigation, other people don't. And you have the option in Motorola's Android distribution to choose 3-button navigation if you wish to. As you can see, I now have the 3 buttons at the bottom of my screen, but if you prefer gesture navigation, you can do that. And that's under System Navigation in Settings. Just be aware, I will also be doing a separate video on how to change these settings going forward. But now that we've done that, we can go to the home screen and wait for it to finish loading. So as you see, this is the first time I've loaded the home screen on the Motorola Moto G10. And it's taking a while. So there's some prompts about finishing setup, but we've just done that. No, okay. Are we going to finish? I don't think we need to do anything. Now, an SD card is in place, the one that we installed whilst we were putting the tray in the device, I'm actually going to go into Files and format that. So there's two Files buttons, two Files apps. One is the built-in Motorola one, and the other one is the Google Files app. Can't see anything for formatting the card. So we're in the card, but there's no option to format it. So I'm just going to go back to my home screen. We'll go into Settings. And from here, there's a storage option, SD card. Let's open it with a file, but it's by Google. Okay, there's storage settings. And then within storage settings, we can format, just to make sure we have the full 32 gigabytes or as close to once formatted for use in the Motorola Moto G10. Now, I plan on using this as a media player as well. I will really be putting it through its paces. The Motorola Moto G10's battery is a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And I believe that paired with the Snapdragon 460 chipset, the chipset that makes the device run, and that 720 HD Plus display, I will get some pretty good battery life out of using the Moto G10 as a media player. So speaking of that, I'll need some apps to do that. And I have a selection of apps that I really are my go-to ones for media. So let's start with Pocket Casts. Pocket Casts is the podcast player client app that I use the most. It's a great app. I own the app. I've paid for it both on Android through the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store. And the great thing is that I can pick up and leave off on one device, pick up on the other, just where I left off. It does the synchronization for you across platforms. Oh, I just got a notification of some sort. Oh, it's just email coming in, flooding in. So the Google Gmail client is currently going. So yes, I will. Whoops, I triggered another device. I am going to install the Protect Scotland COVID Alerts app. Now we've gone for Pocket Casts. My other app for spoken word content is Audible. This is for audiobooks. It is an Amazon company, and I really do enjoy a good audiobook. There's quite a few books that are currently in my queue. Let us know in the comments section if you'd like to know what I'm listening to at the moment. If not, just ignore this. So we're installing Audible, great. Now for music, obviously YouTube Music we've seen has already been suggested as an app. But what I also do is for video, I watch Netflix. I'll need to install that. Prime Video. That's the Amazon one. And as well as Amazon Prime Video, let's just go with Curiosity Stream. Now, Curiosity Stream is a great documentary service. It's a subscription service, and I'm just about to renew my annual subscription because you get a great selection of documentaries. But not only that, you get access to Nebula. And if you don't know what Nebula is, it's essentially a separate platform from YouTube where a lot of educational creators who create great documentaries and how-to videos and educational content are on, where they essentially share the revenue from their joint subscription service with Curiosity Stream. It's a great service and I recommend you go and check that out. I'll put a link in the description. So Curiosity Stream, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, that's the key video services. I think also, just in case, Disney Plus. the other one. There's about to be a lot of great Star Wars content coming on there, but that's where we are. Okay then, so I've got my key media apps. What other apps do I usually install on my device? Well, Telegram Messenger is the one of choice. So once that's installing, that's great, but also Twitter, Instagram, what else? I don't plan on using Facebook on this device. What I might choose to do is maybe use Messenger. I know it's a Facebook product, it's evil, but sadly that's where family and friends are, and I'm in no position to tell them what to use as a messaging service. So LinkedIn, actually not really interested in that, but I am interested in Amazon Shopping. That's where we get a lot of the items that we review on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. It's great for following the updates of where things are and what the lightning deals are. So if you haven't already seen it, we have a segment or a feature on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel called Earphone Tuesdays, and a lot of the earphones purchased on Amazon end up being unboxed, and you get first impressions from me here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. Now, whilst I'm at it, yes, a bit of cheese from Amazon Music, and always goes down well. Now, video calling, that's going to be another thing I'll probably use this device for a lot. So Google Meet is my service of choice here. I'll install that app. Great, so I think I've got everything installing in the background here. Let's clear the notifications and see that apps are already installing. The home screen by default from Motorola in this case, is nice and clear and simple. Now there's a widget here that's not loading on the other hand. But it's good to see that it's a very Google-like experience. You have a very simple launcher.
Here's what I found.
Oops, I triggered my assistant again. It's a very simple launcher with a widget for Google search, but you also have an app drawer. Wait, we hadn't got to the camera yet. You have an app drawer with all your installed apps, and you swipe right to extra home screens, but your swiping to the left will give you your feed from the Google. So great to see this Google-like launcher, which isn't actually from Google, but it's very close in terms of experience. Let's see if there's much here in terms of pre-installed apps or apps from Motorola. Yes, there is a few, but the good news is that the default app for your phone and messages is actually the one from Google, so you can handle your text messages from here. This is the RCS client of choice for rich communication services. And I'll just check that in settings we have chat features enabled. Okay, I don't know the number that I've put in here, I'll do that later, but essentially it makes life easier. I'll give you a quick sneak peek of how I like organizing my home screen. Right, the dock at the bottom is still very important to me. I tend to have the phone app on the far left, a bunch of messaging apps there. I'll remove Chrome. And then what I usually do is put my social apps to the right. So let's start off with probably the most used one, Twitter. I'll just drop that one in there. And just for ease of access, for email, Gmail in the middle. And when I add Instagram as well, there we go. So you have the key apps there. And then I'll probably also add my media apps in separate folders on the home screen, on the main screen. So that's a quick walkthrough of how I set up the phone. let's have a look at what is particularly Motorola detailing on this. So I've long pressed to bring up the settings. Let's have a look at the home screen settings. So notification dots are on. Add app icons to the home screen. Allow home screen rotation. I actually quite like that. And if I install new apps, I don't necessarily want them to go to the home screen, so I'll change that setting around. So you have the option of customizing what happens when you swipe left on the home screen. So at the moment the Google feed is there. There is the option to block that if you're not interested in the Google feed. So that's a nice quick few settings for the home screen. Let's have a look at styles and wallpapers. What does this bring us? So this is very similar to the Google wallpaper selector. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually is. Yes, because it's the same version as what I already have seen on Pixels and other devices, but maybe select some slightly different imagery. And these are quite stunning seascapes. I'm actually going to turn on the daily wallpaper, which allows me to have a different seascape every day. And it's quite fun. And it's a scrolling wallpaper, seems to be relatively high quality and with some stunning colors. Actually, one thing I haven't installed that I think might be useful is wallpaper blur. Now, one thing that you may have noticed there is that your wallpaper may impede you from reading the labels to your icons clearly. You can see that that is legible, but it's not very clear. And the reason I've installed this app is because it makes my life easier. So this allows you to decide how much you blur your wallpaper. And that way your wallpaper is nice and legible with the labels to your icons down there. So this is a really useful app that I use. It makes it easier for me to quickly glance at my phone and read what's on the home screen without having to go too much into spending time doing it. Right, let's have a look at other settings. So we've been through the basics here. The Moto G10 is a pretty capable device, and it is already coming with Android 11 pre-installed on the device. And as I can see here, there is an extra update available, which is currently applying. It's a 50 megabyte update, which includes the January security update for the Moto G10. Considering we're in the middle of March, that isn't great. It's not pixel type updates, but I will update you on how the updates go to the Moto G10 in the coming weeks. Especially after we've done our long-term review, we'll be able to properly update you on how the system updates come through from Motorola after they've been pushed out. So there we go. So that's the system updates, that's great. Let's have a look at other settings such as display. One of the key things some people like, especially for using their phone in the dark, is having a dark theme. Let's see what Motorola's dark theme is like. It's not fully black. There would be no advantage on this device because it's an IPS display. It means it's an LED backlit one. Having it all black would probably not bring any battery advantage. And it would also be a bit grey. It would still be backlit. This is more of a teal finish. It's more of a teal finish dark mode, which I'm not complaining about. So yes, it has dark mode. We did change the settings to see if you can rotate your home screen, but that's not happening. maybe because I haven't turned that on. So we have auto rotate as a quick setting. And yes, it does work. So home screen rotation does work on this. And as you can see in the quick settings, you have the usual selection and it is editable. So you can choose which ones are on and which ones are off. But I think everything I'm after is here. It will take a bit of using to see if everything I need is there. So there you go. That was a quick walkthrough of my setup of the Moto G10. This is how I'm going to be mostly using the device. As I said, this is mainly going to be used as a media player, and we'll be doing our long-term review in over a month's time. I personally don't think there's enough time to properly get to know a device, properly use it in less than a month to be able to give it a fair review. For now, thank you for watching. If you're interested in knowing more about where it's available in the UK, I'll put a link to Amazon UK. If you do purchase from there, you will be supporting the Tech Travel Geeks. And if you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We will be back with more content about the Moto G10, and we'll also be doing some side-by-side comparisons between the Moto G10 and devices we think are in the same category as it. For example, we will be doing a direct comparison with the Nokia 3.4, with the OnePlus Nord N100, and the Poco M3, all similarly priced. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching, and goodbye from me.